The Vietnamese grabbed an American pilot, yanking his hair like he was some kind of prey. Though the pilot was taller and stronger, he didn't dare resist or even straighten his back. He knew these Vietnamese hated Americans with a deep, burning passion, and to survive, he had to play submissive for now. Back in the village, the locals shot him angry glares, but he forced a smile, keeping his head down as he greeted each of them politely. He thought that acting obedient might spare him from the worst, but little did he know, the real nightmare was only beginning. The Vietnamese first tied him tightly to stakes in an open field, leaving him under the scorching sun all afternoon. The next morning, they paraded him around the village on a rope for everyone to see. Afterwards, they bound his feet and had a water buffalo drag him across the ground until his back was raw and bleeding, leaving him completely immobile. Then they hung him upside down from a tree, placing a massive hornet's nest in front of his face. The once proud American pilot had become nothing more than a toy for their amusement. After being beaten to a bloody pulp, they shoved him into a stinking water well. He had to stand on tiptoe just to keep his head above the foul water to breathe, and it was then that he truly understood what it meant to be better off dead. Thankfully, this torment didn't last forever. A few days later, bored with their games, the Vietnamese dumped him into a crude prison deep in the jungle. Looking around, he realized the conditions were far worse than a regular jail. The cells were made of wooden planks and thatch, and there were only a few guards. He began calculating. Escaping from here shouldn't be too difficult. Even more encouraging, he discovered that all the prisoners were fellow American pilots, captured after missions gone wrong, tortured, and then sent here. They were all skin and bones, looking little better than homeless men. He learned that these men had been held for 2 years. The Vietnamese treated them worse than animals, giving them scraps of leftover food, sometimes even moldy. But strangely, none of them had tried to escape. Fellow prisoners explained that, although the prison looked poorly defended, the guards were well armed and the inmates stood no chance. At night, to prevent escape, everyone's feet were chained to wooden posts, hands cuffed and crossed, making even rolling over difficult. Escaping was nearly impossible. The man realized that the first step to breaking out was finding a way to unlock the handcuffs. The next morning, he started observing the prison carefully, but all he could see were wood and thatch, nothing useful. Then, near a pavilion, he noticed a single nail. He had his fellow prisoners scattered to distract the guards, leaving behind only a short, not-so-bright guard. Pretending to squeeze toothpaste and joking to keep the guard entertained, he quietly pulled out the nail. Back in his cell, he filed it down with a stone, and after much effort, fashioned a key that could open the cuffs. That night, after the guards left, he used the key to free each of his fellow prisoners. They were overjoyed and praised his skill. The success boosted his confidence. He felt certain he could escape soon. But a fellow prisoner sobered him. Even if they got out without food or water, they'd survive only 3 days in the jungle. Still, he was determined. He believed humans could conquer any challenge. No water? Wait for the rainy season. No food? Start collecting it now.